Welcome to another episode of Faith in 5. I'm Stephen Senatiempo and I'm joined today by, I guess we'd call a parish all-rounder, somebody that serves the parish in many, many ways, Fiona McKenna. Fiona, good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to start by asking you a very, very broad question and answer it any way you like. What does faith mean to you?
Yes, faith, I think, for me is something that you choose quite often deliberately. It's not always obvious or easy at the time, but I think in that perspective it requires a lot of trust. And more deeply, I think it's a relationship. And what I mean by that is it's a response to God and a decision to orient your life toward Him even when times are hard. And so I see faith as very much trust and relationship. It's something that you enter into very much intentionally and continue choosing over time.
This one, take as long as you like to answer this because it's going to be a fairly broad answer for you, I think. Tell us about your vocation within the church.
I serve the parish in a number of practical ways. So I am the safeguarding officer, the sacristan ministry leader, and I'm also a reader. But I think more broadly, I see my vocation as very much supporting the life of the church in a way that is both faithful and responsible. A lot of what I do is behind the scenes, and so it's very much about creating or helping to create an environment where people can encounter God in a way that is safe and reverent.
Tell us a little bit more about your role as a safeguarding officer. What does that mean?
Really, I just support our parish administrator, Father Paul. So I draft a lot of risk assessments, for example. I help answer questions around any safeguarding questions, things like that. So it's really a support role.
When has your faith been a challenge for you, Fiona?
It's an interesting question, and I think our faith can be challenging more often than we expect. Personally, for me, I can sometimes find it challenging to trust in God's timing, but I often see that as a wonderful opportunity to deepen my faith because it moves me away from something that is intellectual towards something that is lived. I also have come to realise over time, especially as a convert, that life without faith has its own set of challenges. And so for me personally, it really comes down to just choosing your heart, if I can put it that way.
Let me throw a supplemental question in. Talk us through the journey to conversion.
My journey to conversion has been a long one. I would say it's something that has always tugged at my heart, but it started very much sort of more in a concrete way when I was over in Rome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it something about the atmosphere of the home of the church, so to speak?
It was very much like coming home.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was sitting at St. Peter's Basilica and waiting for an audience with the Pope Francis at the time. And we were listening to the Rosary in Latin. I'd never heard the Rosary before, but I knew what it was, if that makes sense. And I just felt this urgency that this is what I was meant to do.
That's a wonderful story. How would you describe the St. Christopher's faith community? I
would describe our community as reverent, committed and welcoming. There's very much a sense that people are there for something serious and meaningful, but also a willingness to support one another in that. It's very much a place where people are genuinely trying to live out their faith.
Fiona, our last question is one that you are uniquely qualified to answer. And I'd ask you to say, what would you say to someone who's either thinking of joining our community or somebody that's strayed from the church and thinking about coming back?
I would say that you don't have to have it all figured out before you come. Faith isn't about having all of your answers lined up. It's simply about being willing to seek. And this is definitely a community where I think you can do that quietly and without pressure, and also knowing that you have support behind you. And so I would very much encourage those people to come and see and then let God do the rest.
Fantastic. Fiona, thanks for joining us on Faith in 5.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.